Alright guys, before the video starts, I'm just going to have some real life clips of me playing ball in the background instead of the 2K gameplay. Just getting bored of it, so wanted to switch it up. Let me know what you guys think about that instead of the 2K gameplay, because, I don't know, 2K team gameplay is just getting a little repetitive for me, so wanted to switch it up. Alright guys, obviously by the title and thumbnail, you know what we're talking about today. I'm not trying to waste your time. All I ask is that you drop a like on the video for me, and let's get into it. If this video gets anywhere close to 7 likes, then I will stream tonight. Okay. So first, we're going to look at top 10 players in each position and then the top 20 players in the NBA. So 2K19, top 10 point guards, here they are. Number 1, Steph Curry, 96 overall. So according to 2K, he's the best point guard in the league by far. The next closest is Kyrie and Russell Westbrook at 93 overall. How do y'all feel about that? I want this to be a debate down in the comment section, but let's keep it civil, okay? Don't be trying to whoop each other's ass down there. Just talk about the ratings. Then you got Chris Paul and Damian Lillard at 90. John Wall comes in at 89. And then Kemba, Conley, Bledsoe, and Drew Holiday all around mid-80s. I don't know how I feel about this, bro. I do believe Steph Curry deserves to be the highest rated. But you have to factor in the fact that he's playing for the best team in the league by far. And arguably one of the greatest teams of all time. So he definitely benefits from the system. Kyrie was injured, so, 93 is fine. And then you got Westbrook, man. He averaged a triple-double back-to-back seasons. I know his team underachieved in the playoffs, but I don't think they had... I know they had Paul George and Melo, but Melo didn't really fit with them, so I think it's tough. To give Westbrook a 93, I think he probably deserves to be one higher. But I also don't agree that Steph Curry is a 96. You're going to see why when I show the next couple of positions. But I do believe Steph deserves to be on top, so... I think they got that right. What do y'all think? Who should be the top point guard in the league? Next up, shooting guards. James Harden comes in at a 96 overall in the number 1 spot. Then we have a 3-way tie between DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, and Klay Thompson. Victor Oladipo at 88. Bradley Beal, Donovan Mitchell tie at 87. Then you got Booker, McCollum, and Middleton all around mid-80s. I do believe, obviously, James Harden deserves to be the highest. Now, again, I don't think he deserves a 96. You'll see why when we show the small forwards. But I have a problem, too. I do not think DeMar DeRozan should be tied for the second best shooting guard in the league. Just my opinion. I think Klay Thompson is the second best shooting guard in the league. I think Klay should probably be a 90. Or if you're going to keep Klay at an 89, DeRozan's got to go down to an 88. I guess I could go with Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson in a tie for second. But I don't think DeRozan deserves second. I think he's the 4th best in the league behind, obviously, Harden, Butler, and Klay Thompson. Not that I don't think DeRozan is a good player, but you got to perform in the playoffs, and DeRozan always seems to come up a little bit. Not small, but he tends to not play as well as he does in the regular season and the postseason, and that is a big factor for me. I think Klay Thompson is a great 2-way player. Same with Jimmy Butler. James Harden is obviously the best shooting guard in the league, so he deserves to be number 1. Small forwards, top of the list, LeBron James at 98 overall. Kevin Durant comes in at a 96. Giannis and Kawhi come in at 94. Paul George, 89. Gordon Hayward, 88. Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum tie at 87. And then Tobias Harris and Harrison Barnes, low 80s at 9 and 10. Obviously, LeBron should be on top. I understand Kevin Durant won the championship and back-to-back finals MVPs, but obviously his team was much, much more talented than LeBron's. And I think, all NBA players that talk all agree that LeBron is the best player in the league still in his, what is he going into, his 16th season? So that's crazy. Kevin Durant, 96, second place. Obviously, that is fine. This is why I don't agree with Harden and Curry at 96 overall, because Kevin Durant is better than both of them. And if you don't agree with that, then I don't know what you're doing. But Kevin Durant, 96 overall. I think Curry and Harden should drop down at least 1 point because Kevin Durant is the second best player in the league. It is not tied between Harden, Curry, and Durant. Durant is the second best player in the league, the best out of those 3, hands down. Kawhi at 94. He barely played last season, but he is, one of the best players in the league for sure. So I guess 94 is fine. And Giannis obviously had a great season. So him and Kawhi being tied, I see that just because Kawhi barely played last season. Paul George, 89, that's fine. I guess maybe you could argue he should be a 90, but 89 is fine with me. Everybody else is fine. I mean, the 2 rookies, I know Ben Simmons is technically a second-year player, but both at 87. I mean, they both have their flaws, but they're both very, very promising stars, so 87 is fine for both of them. And Gordon Hayward coming back off injury, he should be 88. Obviously, he didn't play last season. He only played a few minutes, so 88 is fine there. Power forwards. Now, this is funny. Look at the depth here. There's barely any depth at the power forward position anymore. You got Anthony Davis at 94. Obviously, he's the best power forward in the league. LaMarcus Aldridge, 89. Porzingis, 88. Love and Draymond at 87. And then outside of that, I mean, you got Blake at 85. And then you have low-rated 80. Look at Julius Randle makes the list at 81 overall. Aaron Gordon, 81 overall. You know, so the power forward is one of the easiest positions to rate, I think, just because of the lack of depth. Like, you know, obviously Anthony Davis is best. And then it's, you know, you mix those four in: Aldridge, Porzingis, Love, and Green. Outside of that, everybody else is not average, but like there's no competition. Like it's pretty easy to put your top 10, or at least, you know, the top 5. You know who the top 5 is here. There's not really a debate like there is for like small forwards, shooting guards, and all that. So this is pretty self-explanatory. Next up, we got the big fellas, the centers. Karl Anthony Towns is rated 91 overall, and you're rating him the best center in the league. We'll talk about it in a minute. DeMarcus Cousins coming back off injury, still has a 90, so that was we'll talk about that. Joel Embiid also a 90. Jokic 89, Drummond 87, Horford 86, Capella 86, DeAndre 86, Whiteside 86, and Rudy Gobert 86. So a 5-way tie for the 6th spot. Now, first of all, Karl Anthony Towns number 1 overall. What do you guys think about that? Number 1 overall center in the league? I don't know. DeMarcus Cousins, 90 overall, coming back off an Achilles that really nobody besides Dominique Wilkins has come back from that injury and been themselves. You think about Kobe, when he came back, he wasn't himself. And there's plenty of other examples, so it'll be interesting to see if DeMarcus actually bounces back and plays like a true 90 overall. Joel Embiid, 90 overall. Now, to me, I don't know. I know Cat is a beast, but I think we can make the argument that Embiid should be over Cat. Either way, I have no problem. You know, it's only 1 overall difference, so I mean, you can really lean either way. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm not sure what he averaged this year, but I'm pretty sure he had a good season, obviously, and same with Embiid. I guess Karl Anthony Towns plays a little bit more than Embiid, right? I mean, Embiid is a lot of times he's on minute restrictions, so I guess maybe that's part of the reason. But if Embiid ever can just be healthy, I think he'll be the best center in the league, hands down. What do you guys think? Now we look at the top 20 overall players. LeBron James comes in at number 1 overall. Now we have a 3-way tie that I talked about quickly when we talked about Kevin Durant. 3-way tie for second between Harden, Durant, and Curry. I do not agree with this. This is the one problem I really have with the ratings. Kevin Durant should be second overall, like by himself. He should be a 96 by himself. And then you could drop down, I think, Harden to a 95, and then Curry to a 94. Or, you know, them both be 95s, or, you know, Curry 95, Harden 94, whatever you want to do. But they should both have 1 rating taken off so that Kevin Durant is a 96 by himself. I'm not taking away from how good Harden and Curry are, but Durant is the best player out of those 3. You can't argue that. Number 5, Anthony Davis at 94 overall, tied with Giannis and Kawhi. I guess that is fine, but honestly, right now, I think Davis deserves that 5 spot by himself. I think Giannis and Kawhi, obviously Kawhi's coming off an injury, and Giannis is still on the rise, but Giannis isn't quite a polished player yet. Yes, he's a beast. I understand what he did this year. You know, you can make the argument that, you know, he was an MVP candidate and all that, but he's not, in my opinion, he's not quite a polished player. Anthony Davis is a monster. If he ever gets a squad around him, he's going to win championships. That's no doubt about that. Kawhi coming back off injury at 94. Westbrook and Kyrie at 93. Again, Kyrie coming back off injury. I think Westbrook 93, I guess. I mean, you can make the argument he should be 94, but and Karl Anthony Towns number 10 at 91 overall. We already talked about you know, the situation there with the centers. So overall, the top 10 is fine. My biggest problem with it is just Kevin Durant should be number 2 by himself. He shouldn't be tied with Harden and Curry. Let's look at the next 10. I put 11 here because Klay is tied with Paul George and those guys at 89 overall, but we'll run it down. Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, DeMarcus, and Joel all at 90. Then you got DeRozan, Butler, Wall, Aldridge, Jokic, Paul George, and Klay Thompson. I put 11, like I said, because Klay is tied with all these guys for 15th overall. For 15th spot at 89 overall. You know, they're all tied. I don't really have a problem with any of this. Like I said, I mean, Joel Embiid, you can make the argument he should be higher, but he's got to make sure he's healthy and get off that minute restriction and all that. DeMarcus Cousins coming back off injury. We'll have to see if he actually plays like a 90 overall because nobody else has bounced back from that injury. But outside of that, I really have no problems with the ratings. You know, I think at the top, everything is right. I think in here, everything is pretty close to accurate. Like I said, you could make the argument for a few players like Klay Thompson, I think probably deserves a 90 in my opinion, even though I know the role the Warriors ask him to play isn't that big of one, but he's a great two-way player, and he can shoot the lights out. So outside of that, what do you guys think? Do you agree? Disagree? Put it down below. Like I said, keep it civil in the comments, but make sure you drop a like before you leave, and that's about it. These are the best players in NBA 2K19. What do you think?